You've seen all the home renovation, design, and real estate shows on TV. Even if you don't like them, you've seen them. The list is endless. So let's find out how homeowners get on these shows. In this video, you'll get tips on how to find out if your favorite home renovation show is casting, how to fill out a casting application, what shows are looking for, what to expect if you're contacted or selected, what the perks are, and what your responsibilities are. Welcome to Reno Recon. I'm Rosanna. I'm a television producer who's worked on some popular home renovation shows over the last 15 years, here to share some things I've learned. How a home reno show usually starts out, or lifestyle shows as they're often called, is a production company pitches the idea for the show to a network, the network buys it and broadcasts it. Once the production company is at the casting phase, which is the search for the real life people and projects to feature on the show, they put out a casting call. To easily find out which shows are casting, look up the show or network channel where you watch it, click on the search bar, and enter casting. The application form will say which city the show is casting in next. For the Canadians, HGTV Canada is now Home Network. If you follow the hosts of any shows on social media, they usually post casting announcements as well. Filling out the application can take a long time, up to an hour or so if you're putting effort into it. There's rarely a way to save it partway through, so I recommend copying and pasting the application questions into your own document. That way, you can go at your own pace, and when you're ready to submit it, you just copy and paste your answers right back into the application form. More information is preferred over too little. Don't worry about being verbose. Don't write a novel either, but we want to hear your whole story. We want to know things like what's not working, why you need help, and what's prevented you from getting the renovation done already. You'll need to submit photos of yourself and your home. Choose pictures where you're not wearing hats or sunglasses so that you're clearly visible. Try to choose pictures that are just of you and whoever's going to be on camera with you. If there's an option for more than one photo and your whole family, friends, and pets are part of your reno story, include those too. If there are no specific instructions, take pictures and videos of your home horizontally, not vertically. Go as wide as you can to give the best sense of the whole space. If there's an option to include a video, do. This ups your chances of your application getting seen first. A video lets us see your energy and personality. It's kind of like a screen test where we get to see how comfortable you are on camera, and we get a more accurate view of your home compared to just pictures alone. Your budget is one of the key pieces of info we're looking for. Yes, you pay for your home renovation, not the TV show, unless you're on Extreme Home Makeover or something. Put the budget you could honestly afford and not just the bare minimum if there's one mentioned. I know coming up with a number can be tough. Most people say their budget depends on what they're going to get. I know some of you are saying right now, well, if I have to pay for my renovation, why go on the TV show? I'll get to that when I get to the perks. Overhauling spaces like kitchens, bathrooms, or an expectation of electrical work like adding or changing the lighting are very costly, so keep that in mind when you're entering your budget. The more you can contribute, the better your transformation will be. If you don't know whether you're submitting an adequate budget for your renovation requests, ask your phone or computer. Dear ChatGPT, what's the average cost to renovate a 50 square foot bathroom in Vancouver, British Columbia? Isn't AI amazing? Getting a ballpark figure has never been easier. If there's any history of your home you think the show should know about, like any problems you've suspected or things someone has flagged to you about, be transparent about it. You don't want to get burned by something you forgot to mention or try to hide. Regardless of whether or not you think you have what it takes to be chosen, apply. A show doesn't always get as many applications as you might think, or they might be trying to fill a particular gap. We like to show a variety of people, stories, projects, and styles, and we can't pick what doesn't get submitted. Once you apply, keep an eye on your junk email. If someone from the show tries to contact you, that email might get filtered there. Every show is different, but we're always looking for people with good energy, who are open, natural, and relatable. We're looking for a deserving need for the renovation and why the host of the show is the perfect solution for you. There are always plenty of submissions with a general wish for updating, the need for more storage or more space, but show and tell us why. How do the problems you encounter interfere with your daily life? How would the renovation you're asking for change your life? Show us the bothersome or funny ways that you cope with what's not working for you. We love knowing the why behind what it is you want. We're looking for budgets that align with the renovation requests. If your budget is way below the average cost to do what you're asking for, your application will likely get put to the side. It's always best to note a budget range, but like I said earlier, don't sell yourself short by not applying. You never know unless you try. We're looking for unique styles and spaces. If you're willing to inject color or bold statements, make it known. I'm not saying you've got to be wild like this is the Trixie Motel, but most people's dream boards are really neutral in color and character. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just not always exciting TV. So when someone's willing to go outside of the norm, we get jazzed about it. We're looking for homes with good logistics for shooting. We need a lot of space. A TV crew is no less than 6 to 8 people, usually more, and there's a lot of gear to store. The number of people can almost double once the construction team rolls in if you're doing a full home renovation. If you have a basement, driveway, garage, backyard, or work shed, let it be known. The crew needs proximity and ease of parking for multiple vehicles and a reasonable control of sound. We need relative quiet for shooting. If you've got a construction site nearby, especially if it's a house right next to you, that's not so desirable if it looks like it's going to be happening by the time we get started. This is why you rarely see apartments or condominiums on reno shows. They're more cramped for space, harder to access even if you have the service elevator, and they're usually regulated by a board that imposes a lot of restrictions for filming. What we're really looking for is a great before and after transformation. If your place already looks nice, that's harder to achieve, and justifying your need for a reno feels like a stretch. Some people feel embarrassed by how outdated or out of shape their home is, but we love that, especially when there's a suitable budget we can work with to transform it into something great. Someone from the show contacts you and you're already planning your outfits to be on camera. Slow down. There's still a few more steps before you might be selected, and they could take a while to get around to. It will start with a phone or video call that usually lasts about a half hour, maybe longer. The casting associate will ask you to share your story just so she or he can hear it straight from you. Don't be surprised if it feels like you're saying all the things that you wrote down in your application. We know it's usually one person who fills out the application, and we prefer 2 people to be on camera most of the time. So we want to hear the story from both people, see how you interact with each other, and get a feel for your personalities. If all goes well, there will be a visit to your home to see it in person. Then, if the team decides to go ahead with you, they'll put together a little casting package they send to the network or broadcaster, and they ultimately decide if you're approved. If you were contacted or had a phone call and it's been a while since you've heard from anyone, feel free to reach out to see where things are at. The casting phase is hectic. It can take a long time and they're talking to a lot of people. No one's going to think you're a nuisance for checking in. Now we get to the perks. Every show is different, but what all the shows I've worked on have in common is that the production company covers the cost of the interior design team and project management. This is huge. It's the biggest perk. If you could make your home look like it was professionally designed, you wouldn't be applying to the show. Designers come with their own insider contacts and discounts that you would never have access to otherwise. We're talking thousands of dollars in value and not having to deal with all the headaches. That doesn't mean there are no headaches. No one is immune from the realities of construction, but having an experienced team help run your renovation instead of you doing it on your own is like winning a little lottery. You get to sit back and relax. You also get the renovation done in an accelerated timeline for the most part. General contractors typically have a few jobs going on at the same time, and the show's going to make sure that your project is prioritized. Don't worry, that doesn't mean any corners are getting cut or building codes aren't getting followed. They are. All the shows I've worked on anyway always obtain proper permits and pass inspections where required. The show vets proper building and worker safety insurance and has the contracts needed in place. Contractors also tend to like working on a show for the level of production support and not having to deal with the homeowners as much, and for the self-promotion. The show works hard to acquire product contributions from suppliers in exchange for being featured on the show to boost the overall look, but these aren't always guaranteed. The products could be anything from plumbing fixtures to furniture or even hot tubs. Sometimes you'll get the products totally free of charge, but most of the time what you'll get is a great discount. These contributions are most often used to upgrade the selections the design team has already made versus reducing the cost of your renovation. For example, let's say the plan is to install tile and the designer chose porcelain. Then a tile company comes on board and offers a selection at a 70% discount for the project. The designer might then upgrade to a premium tile instead, like quartz or marble. Your budget still gets spent on buying the product and paying for the cost of labor because the install cost hasn't changed. Make sense? It's not money back in your pocket. It just makes what you have stretch further. It's a win-win. You and the show get a better final product. That's why I recommend putting your best budget forward. The more that the design team can include from the start, the more they can play around with for upgrades, even after you've signed off on the scope of work. But times are tough. Advertising and TV isn't what it used to be, so it's best to not expect any freebies and be pleasantly surprised by anything that comes your way. You have to be comfortable handing over the creative decisions to the show. You'll share the look and feel that you're after, and no one's going to deliberately design anything that you don't like, but you're not going to get to know all the details or choose every color, finish, and fixture of the design. That's what you're applying to the show for and why you see those big reactions on reveal day. It's not a process for everyone. If you consider yourself someone who likes a lot of control or you know the exact look you're after and how to get it, this probably isn't the right fit for you. If the thought of having to choose every piece of furniture, light fixture, door handle, paint color, window treatment, flooring, and dealing with the contractor and managing all the deliveries gives you anxiety and you just want to be able to walk into a beautifully styled space, then you should apply. If you get selected, you'll need to be available and flexible for shooting during the week and maybe some weekends. This might mean you need to arrange childcare or pet care for the day. Depending on the show, you could be needed anywhere from 2 to 7 shoot days. You must have the funds for your budget readily available and a contingency fund of 10 to 15% of the project total prepared. So keep that in mind when you're setting your budget. Some shows ask for the contingency amount up front, others expect you to have it readily available. This is for any surprises found during the renovation that need to be rectified. Usually, a contingency fund isn't touched without prior notice and a change order form signed. You are responsible for packing and moving out your belongings. The good news is, all the new stuff gets moved in for you. Your home becomes the set of an episode and a construction site. You'll have to give over a lot of space, and you might have to move out for a portion of your renovation or for all of it. Once the work starts, the expectation is that you're hands off. No peeking throughout the renovation, no talking to the construction team on the side and making arrangements or asking for major changes. Talk to your producer about any of your concerns or requests to see the renovation at a vital stage. The show is on a strict timeline, and they can't have too many chefs in the kitchen. A reno always looks worse before it gets better, and viewers tune in for the reveal. You might think you can recreate an honest look of surprise even if you've seen your space ahead of time, but I'm telling you, you can't. I like to say there's only one Meryl Streep. You'll have to keep your own personal look relatively the same throughout the shoot schedule. No drastic changes to hair, weight, or skin. If you're pregnant or you become pregnant during the show, let your producer know. Always check in with your producer if you have any questions or concerns. And there you have it. Now you've got the inside scoop on applying to a home renovation television show. Good luck out there.